Hey, cheers, everybody. We are back. Welcome to Good Bets, Good Times. This is the podcast for the weekend warriors, the recreational DJs looking to level up their sports game and have a great damn time along the way. I'm your host, Nate Tuttle with NT Sports. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we are ready to go after a week off, a little vacation with the family. Baby, don't worry. I didn't get a chance to record the podcast, but we were locked into the betting slate. Although it did not quite go the way that we had planned. Maybe we chalked it up to the vacation. I felt pretty good about a lot of our bets, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But today's episode, we are going to break down all of our NFL and college football bets from this past weekend, how we did, what we learned. Then we're going to talk about this upcoming weekend slate. Bets we are already on, some leans, games that we're going to stay away from. Of course, our favorite, best of the best bet of the week. Got a nice cold Oktoberfest here, because 'tis the season. And before we move forward and recap the weekend, if you are enjoying the podcast, if you're following along on social media, feel free to rate and subscribe. Maybe throw us a review, some feedback on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, and then maybe throw us a like or a follow on the socials. We like to talk ball with the fellow sports bettors out there. So hit us up, follow along. All of our bets are on the Action app. I post everything on there, along with analysis or a quick breakdown of each game and why we're on that particular side. So follow along all season long there. And let's get into it. So kicking off, quick recap of the past weekend, starting off with the good, the bad, the what the fuck.
The good, the bad, the what the fuck.
Overall results from this past weekend, we got down on 16 total bets, 15 pregame, 1 live bet that we actually cashed. 6 and 10, down 5 units. Nah, not great. Not great. That's combined college and NFL. Let's start with the good. There was a few good. So in college, starting off, Pitt minus 21.5. Thank you, Pat Narduzzi. And that one, sitting there 21-0. I think they were up by 21 a few times in this game and thought we had an easy winner. Central Michigan fought back, but ended the game. We had a nice little kick return with 2 minutes to go. And Pat Narduzzi just kept the pedal to the metal and scored a touchdown to give us the cover. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Iowa plus 3.5. The Cyhawk game, we know we take the dog, especially if it's over 3. If it's over 3, we're definitely taking the dog. It was ugly. I don't know if you watched this game, but yeah, it was not pretty. Classic Iowa State rivalry game. Loved every minute of it, and we'll take the plus 3.5 there, the winner. We did get down on a live bet, as I mentioned, JMU and Louisville. So we started watching that game, and it was a grinder throughout the first quarter. We ended up getting a live under bet on 53.5 that came through for us. Game ended 28-14 Louisville. JMU also covered that one, although we did not get a bet down there. NFL kicked off on Thursday night. It was a wild one, man. Jalen Carter got ejected from the game before the first play even occurred. A little spitting incident. We can debate all day long who spit first. I think it was pretty clear. I don't know if Dak was instigating, but Jalen Carter got in his face and spit on him and got booted out of the game, and it was a difference maker. The game was close, so we had a lightning delay, had a couple fights. It was also, I would say, a very ugly, sloppy game. I'm not going to lie, I did not stay up and watch past the lightning delay. The game didn't start till, East Coast dad here. This game didn't start back up until well after the 11:30-ish Eastern time. So, and I didn't miss anything. It looked like no one scored after I stopped watching. It was 24-20. Felt pretty good about Dallas. They fumbled going in. Miles Sanders fumbled going in for a touchdown that would have gave them the lead. And was kind of worried waking up about that one because I thought we had a lot of momentum there. I was very confident about Dallas covering the 8.5. Turned out they did, and both teams were very sluggish coming out of the lightning delay. NFL Sunday, we did get Jacksonville was kind of scared off by the 3.5, so I just went money line here, cashed easily, well beyond. They also covered 3.5 pretty easily as well. So probably lost a quarter unit there, not just taking the spread, but hey, we'll take the winner. And then our favorite bet of the weekend, Cleveland plus 5.5. They should have won this game outright if they had a kicker who could make an extra point in a field goal. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, 7 yards in the second half, looked terrible against this Browns defense and pass rush. And home divisional dog, big number. This game should have been about 3, and it won due to the field goals. And like I said, Cleveland probably should have won this game outright. And win-win for both sides. Well, actually, would have been a win-win for both sides if Cleveland could have pulled it off. We do have the Bengals under win total, and after seeing their performance on Sunday, I'm still feeling pretty good about that pick. Offensive line is terrible. Defense played okay, but it was the Browns and Joe Flacco, so we'll see how they do this weekend against the Jaguars. Now the bad, and there was a lot of it. Chiefs did not come through for us against the Chargers. And this is one, so the theme of the weekend for me, being early in the year, I spent all summer breaking down these teams, putting in futures bets, taking a strong stance on teams that I felt good about, teams that I was on, that I was off. And going into this weekend, for some reason, I went against that in multiple cases. And one of those is the Chiefs going with the money line here. I had this number right around the 3.5 mark, so I didn't really see any value on the spread there, so it probably should have been a stay away because I do have Chargers futures. And so obviously the Chargers winning the game helped us out there, but I should have trusted my preseason stance on the Chargers and the Chiefs and should have just stayed away from this game, but felt good about the number, the Chiefs bouncing back, neutral site game off of the Super Bowl. And they did not look good. Xavier Worley got taken out by Kelsey early in the game, and Chargers dominated this one. College football, some losers that don't feel great about. Virginia plus 3. They had a chance at the end of this game. High scoring game, back and forth the whole day. They had a chance driving to take the lead, down by 4. This game ended 4. And threw a pick in the end zone to end the game. Pretty ugly interception by Chandler Morris there. So we lost that one. This game did open 4.5. It went down, so we got a bad number there, but still felt good about the 3. I thought Virginia would win this game outright, and they almost did, and they should have. But lesson learned there. The game moved up 1.5. If you got the early plus 4.5, you covered. Congrats. Did not. Bad bet. Florida USF, not much to say about this one. USF, I mean, this team they're a bunch of dogs. They went into the swamp, took care of business. Florida looked terrible. My whole thought was off a big win against Boise State to start the year, they go on the road to the swamp to a Florida team who I thought was appropriately ranked. I'm not super high on them. Don't think they're a playoff team, but also thought they were at least a top 25 team. Who knows now with the schedule they have coming up. But they played pretty bad and lost this one at the end. And then another one, back to my point about the offseason, Michigan, Oklahoma. I was all over Oklahoma, still am all over Oklahoma. I've got Oklahoma over win total. I got John Mateer, Heisman future. And really this number went up to 5.5. I think it came back down a bit. So we did get some CLV here by kickoff. And I said all offseason long, Michigan was not going to go into Norman with a freshman quarterback and win this game. And I was right. But for some reason, the 5.5 pop for me. I had this one at 2.3. And which is probably pretty generous. I've lost 2 bets on Michigan. Why am I betting Michigan? I don't know. Bad. Just bad. Should have went with my initial stance there. Should have stayed away. Rode out the Oklahoma win total future. They're 2-0 now. I have them at 6.5, over 6.5. They got a tough schedule coming up. Got another easy one at Temple. My prediction the whole offseason was that they'd go be 5-0 going into the Red River Shootout against Texas, which given how Texas is playing, I think Venables can do some damage against Arch Manning. If he's even healthy, who knows? But should have stayed away from that one. On to the NFL. Atlanta, Younghoe Koo missed a field goal to tie this game, take it to overtime. Had him plus 1.5. Detroit, another one, all off season. I was all over Green Bay. Still I'm all over Green Bay, having to win the NFC, having to win the North. And decided to bet Detroit plus 2.5. This one also went down to 1.5 by kickoff. So a little bit of CLV there. Didn't matter. Detroit looked bad. Like we have Detroit's win total under too. So there's two future bets on the line here. And they both went our way, but for some reason I decided to bet plus 2.5. Thought it was a good number. First game of the year, divisional dog. Bad. Just bad. Giants, I don't know, nothing to say about the Giants. I put hard-earned money on the New York Giants and Russell Wilson, and that's just bad. Just terrible, terrible. The game kind of went how we thought it was going to go. The final here was 21-6. The Giants were hanging around most of the game. We had plus 6.5 here. They just cannot do anything on offense. Russell Wilson looked terrible. He's cooked. This is Jackson Dart's team. I don't know how long Daboll is going to go with Russ, but I knew the defense would play solid. But with 6 points, there's not much they can do. All right. So moving on, bad bet there. And then Texans plus 2.5. This is the first bet I made weeks ago. This is a bad bet. It went up to 3. There's questions around Stafford's health, so I felt really good about this Texans defense, and then they played really well, held them to 14 points. But once again, Texans offense cannot get anything going. 14-9, and so that turned out to be another bad bet. So not an ideal weekend. Made some mistakes. We're gonna learn from it. We're gonna move forward. Got a fresh slate this weekend. Last but not least, the what the fuck? Let's start with the Bears. The Bears plus 1.5. This was brutal, man. 3 quarters. Our handicap on this game was spot on. It really was. We were fading JJ McCarthy. We knew the Bears were improved. We knew the offense would improve under Ben Johnson. And it looked like it did for a while, for the first half. Second half, the offense couldn't do anything. They got a pick 6 from McCarthy, so we were right on that side. He looked really bad for 3 full quarters. The Bears were up 17-6, driving, missed a field goal to go up 20-6, and the tide turned from there. JJ comes in fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Bears scoring with the end and still had a shot. Maybe if they would have kicked the ball out of bounds and stopped the clock there, they could have had some more time for a game-tying field goal. But hey. What the fuck, Bears? What is going on? How does that game turn from Caleb looking great in the first half to terrible in the second half? McCarthy looking just bad for 3 quarters into a hero, all pro in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Also, Brian Flores turned up the heat on Caleb in the second half too. I mean, great defensive coach. I love the Vikings all off season. I said it was all going to come down to McCarthy. I want to see it one more time. This weekend they played the Falcons, a game that we're eyeing up, betting on the Falcons side again. And we'll see if the Vikings do it again. If the defense plays the way we expect, they have a great O-line, they have the running backs, they have the receivers. If McCarthy plays anywhere near the way he played in this fourth quarter going forward, then the Vikings are going to be a threat for sure. Last but not least, back in college, Ole Miss. Man, this one, we had Ole Miss -8. I will say, I don't think they dominated the game, but they were in control. They were in control of this game. They were up 10. There was a minute to go in the game. Up 10, Kentucky goes down. Decides to go for the old, let's kick a field goal, make it 7. Take our chances with the onside kick. And of course, that covers the 8. So Kentucky bettors, congrats. Ole Miss bettors, that's one we should have had. And Lane Kiffin, we do not accept your apology. Thanks. I appreciate the thought, but you got to get a stop. You got to play a little more aggressive in the fourth quarter. You're only up 10, man. Like, you just completely shut down, run the ball at the middle 3 times, punt it back to Kentucky. Like, what are you doing? What's going on there? And that wraps it up, folks. Moving on. Let's talk about the upcoming weekend. We've locked in quite a few bets so far. Let's talk about it. We need a bounce back weekend. We really do. We really do. We need to get in the green this weekend. That's our goal. And my primary focus for this week was to really try to get ahead of the market. And I did in a handful of cases. We'll start off in college football and take a look at what we have upcoming here. I'll save one of these for my best bet at the very end. First up, Knoxville, Tennessee, down in Neyland Stadium, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. We have number 6 Georgia versus number 15 Tennessee. And we got this bet at plus 4.5, plus 100. This is one that opened up. Look ahead was around 7.5. It's went from, I think the true opener was around 5.5, 4.5. We got it at 4.5, plus money 4.5 before it dropped all the way down to 3.5 now. So we got a good number here. Feeling good about this one. We have this projected at 1, Georgia by 1. And this comes down to two teams that, this isn't the Georgia team of old. Until they prove that they are, which I don't know if they can. We haven't really seen them play anybody yet. They haven't covered either one of the big spreads that they've had. This could be a case of they're just holding things back, knowing this game's coming up, and they had a couple easy opponents in Marshall and Austin Peay. But in Knoxville, got to go with the home dog here at 4.5. So feeling pretty good about this one. Joey Aguilar, transfer from Appalachian State. He's a great fit for this Josh Heupel offense. Tennessee's defense is pretty solid. Georgia defense, it's Georgia. They got dogs, literally, no pun intended. But I think their secondary can be exploited. And I'll take Joey Aguilar at home, the experienced veteran quarterback, against Gunnar Stockton, who hasn't really done much this year. I mean, like I said, maybe they've been holding things back, waiting for this game. But we will see. Love Tennessee. Love this bet. Second time we bet them this year. Still think they're slightly undervalued and still think Georgia's a little overvalued. Tennessee plus 4.5 at plus 100. Next up in college football, we got a big one in South Bend, Notre Dame Stadium. Number 16, Texas A&M comes in to play number 8, Notre Dame at 7:30 on NBC. And we got this one. So sort of a bad number. This went up to 7 after we bet it. We bet it at 6.5, which I'm fine with. I think this will come back down. I love the Aggies here in this spot. Notre Dame, still uncertainty. I mean, I think CJ Carr played okay against Miami in that loss. But anyway, I slice this. I'm seeing this game no more than 4.5. So I got 2 points of value there. Game did go up. You can get a 7, so I don't think it'll go up higher than that. I would be shocked. There's still some 6.5s out there too. So if you want to jump on this, you can still get the 7, which is even better. But I'll take the minus 6.5 or the plus 6.5 at minus 108. Yeah, thought process here. I think Texas A&M's the better team. I mean, it comes down to that. They could win this game outright. Give me Marcel Reed over CJ Carr at quarterback. Coaching matchup. I love Marcus Freeman. Love Mike Elko. And I think this one's going to come down to the quarterback position. 2 tough defenses. I mean, if your total's better, under is probably the way to go here. But I'll take this Aggies defense. I'll take this Aggies offense over this young quarterback. And this is an Aggies team who I believe can shut down the run to an extent, make CJ Carr try to beat them. They got the O-line advantage as well. So give me the Aggies here. Like I said, minus 6.5. Get a plus 7 if you get the plus 7 if you can, but we'll do plus 6.5. Minus 108 is our official bet. Next up, down to the beach, Conway, South Carolina. Got East Carolina at Coastal Carolina. We got this one at minus 7.5 on East Carolina, minus 108. Number's still at 7.5. I have this game at minus 9 for East Carolina. So feeling good about this number here as well. And overall, Coastal's a bad football team. I like what I've seen from East Carolina. We bet them week 1 against NC State. They got home for us, lost that game by 7. They go on and crush Campbell last week, 56-3. Meanwhile, Virginia got crushed Coastal Carolina got crushed at Virginia in week 1. And then did win a game against Charleston Southern. Or they beat Charleston Southern by 3 points. And like I said, I project this game minus 9. I like what I've seen from this East Carolina team. And I think they blow this one out. So depending on where this number goes, look ahead was only 4. and it reopened back at plus 7.5 where it stayed. It is pretty even juice, so not a lot of action on this one yet. Looking at the matchup here, got to roll with Caden Hauser. He's played very well so far this year. Coastal got a very bad quarterback, one of the worst in the entire country so far. East Carolina's defense isn't great, but at minus 7.5, I think worst case scenario, they win this game by 10, but my opinion, this is going to be a 2-3 touchdown game. Not even going to be close. So we're rolling with East Carolina minus 7.5, minus 108. I think the best line I'm seeing right now is minus 110. Still pretty solid. I have it at minus 9, so grab the 7.5 while you can. Maybe even take an 8 if it gets up to that point. And the next one we've locked up in college football. This is a game that I love. So I didn't bet Duke last week against Illinois because I missed the number there, and it really wouldn't have mattered. They got blown, ended up getting blown out, which was a shocker to me. But if you go back and look at this one, I mean, Duke kind of beat themselves. This game should not have been as bad as it ended up. Really like this Duke team coming into the year. I was more down on Tulane just because of the quarterback position, and then Retzlaff's played solid, better than I expected him coming into this offense so late in the year. But I really like Darian Mensah, and even with the blowout loss, which I think because of that blowout loss, we're getting a little bit of extra value here. We got this number at Duke plus 2.5, minus 115, and it's since gone down. I think it even crossed into Duke as the favorite in some spots, which I think Duke wins this game outright. I mean, to be honest, I have, my numbers here say Tulane -1, mostly giving them home field advantage. Your call if you want to bet this late. There's a plus 1.5 out there. Money lines. If you can get a plus money line, I'm showing it should be around plus 120. You're probably not going to find that. We'll see where this goes, if there's any buyback on Tulane. But once again, my big focus this week was to try to get ahead of some of these lines. And there's a handful of games that I was able to do that. 4 out of the 5 I bet I got line value on outside of Texas A&M, which I'm still confident that's going to come back down by kickoff. So we love this Duke team. They had 4 turnovers last week. Just played fairly bad against Illinois. Darian Mensah played pretty well, although he did lose a couple fumbles, threw an interception. And actually 5 turnovers. I was mistaken. Duke had 5 turnovers last week. Like I said, because of the blowout against Illinois last week, I think we're getting a few extra points here. And I think the market agrees, which is why this line has moved a few points since we put our bet in. But we're taking Duke here. Big bounce back spot. Darian Mensah revenge game down in New Orleans this weekend. But we do have a couple NFL games we jumped on pretty early too. Some games we're feeling pretty good about. The first one, which I'm afraid this one might be a popular dog. We'll see. We got it at the New York Jets at home this weekend on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. And we know what happened this weekend. Jets played a really good game. I watched that entire game versus the Steelers. The Steelers pulled out the 60-yard field goal at the end of the game to take the lead, close it down on defense. But I was very impressed by what I saw from the Jets. I was also very impressed by the Bills, but once again, they had to have that miraculous comeback, 15-point comeback late in the fourth quarter to win against the Ravens. And this is from what I saw, this is a new Jets team. Aaron Glenn's coming in just like we thought he would, changing the culture. I like how they're using Justin Fields. They have 2 really good running backs. They got Garrett Wilson at receiver, and the defense. I mean, they did give up 34 points to the Steelers. But the front 7 is pretty solid. You have Sauce Gardner on the outside, and I think they're going to give the Bills fits. This is another big divisional home dog that we love this week. And this number, we got it plus 7, minus 115. And there's a lot of 6.5s popping up here. So this one's moving. There still is the plus 7 out there, minus 115. If you can snag it, I would prefer the 7. I don't think I would bet this any lower. We have the Jets at about 4-point dogs here, 3.5-point dogs here. Yeah, so we're a little more bullish on the Jets than the market. I think the Bills come off a tough emotional win. They go on the road to play a division rival. Give me the Jets keeping this within 7 points. Next up in the NFL, we got two other bets here in the NFL we've locked in so far, and we'll talk about some leans that we're on. Carolina +7. This is another one where I think there's some extra value here because of the result of the game this past weekend. Might be a little overreaction. Not a huge edge here on this one. I mean, we got a -6.5. We got it at +7. But going on the road against the Cardinals, I'm still confident based on how the Panthers finished last season that they're a better team than what they showed in week 1 against Jacksonville. And I think Arizona is a great team to get right against. They did beat the Saints. They beat the Saints. This game was ugly, a lot closer than I think everyone thought it was going to be. They covered the 6.5 point spread, but was not impressed by the Cardinals. This is a great bounce back spot for Bryce Young in this Carolina Panthers team going on the road. Give me 7 points. This is another one that's moved down. I think it's sitting here at +6.5. There are no more 7s available. We got this at -112. So once again, if a 7 pops back up, I like this number at 7. Would not bet it any lower than 7. But give me the Panthers as another 7-point dog this weekend. And then what do we have? Last but not least, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know if I'm stepping in this one here, but I got the Eagles at a 1.5 favorite in this game. I got them -1, -102. I like the juice on this one. I'm not seeing this out there. There's some 1.5s popping back up. This line's kind of bounced around. I opened as Chiefs and look ahead as a favorite. And then it flipped completely to the Eagles and then went down a little bit, almost a pick 'em. And then back up to the Eagles. So this line's kind of bouncing around. We'll see where it goes, but not feeling good about this Chiefs team. I know this is Patrick Mahomes as a home dog, and historically, this is one that I would never want to touch. But after that first, I think this Chiefs team's different. I could be wrong. I could come back here, and this may end up on the bad segment next week as one I should have known. But this Eagle team is far superior to the Chiefs team. I'm just going to say it. They got Patrick Mahomes, so they always have a chance to win. They have Andy Reid with a little extra rest here, which we know we like. But he had all offseason to prepare for the Chargers, and they came out and threw a dud. I think the lack of weapons and, last year winning all those one-score games, we knew regression was coming. We talked about it. That's why we were off the Chiefs this year, and it's going to keep hitting them, especially with Worthy out now. Just not feeling good about this offense and the weapons that Mahomes has, and the Eagles being able to just control this game, just like in the Super Bowl, in the trenches. With Saquon and Hurts. I mean, we did win the cover last week, but I mean, if you're giving me the Eagles just to win this game outright, pretty much by 1 point, then go ahead and take it, especially at the -102. But this is one you might just want to take the money line here, depending on what you can get. Project this money line at -116, so you can get it probably at -110 out there, or just take the -1. If you're like me and you're feeling dangerous and you want to fade Patrick Mahomes at home as a dog, which historically has not been a great bet. But I do, just based on what I saw from both these teams on Thursday and Friday, it's hard to imagine the Chiefs starting 0-2. And I think a lot of people out there are going to be thinking the same thing. I think this is going to be a very public side on Kansas City, even with Philadelphia being the Super Bowl champs. So we'll see how this one turns out. But had to jump on this Eagles team. We'll see if this line goes up or where it goes. It might even flip back to the Chiefs. We'll see. And then some games that we're eyeing up that we haven't quite pulled the trigger on yet. We'll call them leans. We'll call them circling. Games that we're circling to keep an eye on. Watch for the movement. But a couple in college football. First one here is App State Southern Miss. It's funny because Southern Miss is one of those teams that got a lot of offseason hype. Charles Huff coming in, bringing in pretty much an entire new roster. A lot of folks from the Marshall team from last year. So this is an App State team that 2-0. Southern Miss is 1-1. Had that opener against Mississippi State. They got crushed. App State took care of business against Charlotte and then only won by 7 as a 31.5 point favorite against Lindenwood. But regardless, not impressed with what I've seen from Southern Miss so far. I had this game projected at App State -4, and they opened up as a dog, actually. At Southern Miss -1.5 and flipped to App State as a dog. I'm seeing -2s out there. So like I said, I have this at 4.5. This might be a money line App State play here, but we're eyeing this one up. I'm going to do a little more research here. This game is at Southern Miss on Saturday night, so we got some time. But I think I'm liking App State and continuing to fade in Southern Miss until they get things going here. But this all could click for them at any time. I know Charles Huff is a good coach. They have a pretty good roster, really improved roster. So we'll see there. Also, West Virginia Pitt, backyard brawl this weekend. This number has gotten a little out of hand. I really want to take West Virginia. I have this at 5.5. It's up to 7.5 now. I think Pitt was the bet early when this game opened. West Virginia coming off that terrible loss against Ohio, and Pitt opened the season 2-0, looking really good. The offense is much improved, but this is an intense rivalry, man. And this is in West Virginia. This is in Morgantown, and you're gonna give me 7.5 points in this rivalry, given how West Virginia looked last week. This might be the peak. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Still kind of questioning this, but I'm seeing I'm getting 2 points of value here on West Virginia. And this is a big game for Rich Rod too. I think they're going to come off that road loss at Ohio. I think that was like a sort of a look ahead spot. They had the rivalry coming up, going on the road to play a MAC school, and did not look great. But I think they have a good shot at bouncing back here and keeping this one within a touchdown against Pitt. So that's one we're eyeing up as well. Last one, Miami, South Florida. This is a game I would have loved to bet if it was a few points lower. At the current number at 17, couldn't get there. Maybe would have pounced on the 16.5 if I could have got it, or if it comes back. But South Florida is a bad spot. Kind of thought that last week against Florida, but now this week against a much better Miami team, once again on the road after back-to-back wins against ranked opponents. Now they play Miami, and they're 17.5 point dogs. I only have this at 15 though, so can't quite get there. But I do lean Miami to take care of business and bring this South Florida team a little bit back to earth after this run that they're having currently. Gearing up. Their thing is they got a clear path to the college football playoff. They got to go in, take care of business, and win the conference. So in the grand scheme of things, after already beating 2 ranked opponents, I mean, this is one where they want to compete, they want to win, but at the same time, it's not gonna really affect them in the long run. So we'll stay away. They're a feisty team. I want to bet against them again. I really don't. And then, last but not least, NFL. Some leans that we're on. Oh, man. First one, Indianapolis. I know. Don't want to overreact to 1 week. Danny Dimes versus a terrible Miami team. We got Denver coming into town. But this number's 3. I have it projected at 1. I like this Colts team. I like what I saw week 1. I did not like what I saw out of Denver and Bo Nix in week 1 at home against the Titans. They took care of business, obviously, against a rookie quarterback like we thought they would. They didn't cover the 8.5. The Colts look great with this running game. Defense played well. Like Shane Steichen and what he can do and what he is doing with Daniel Jones. And I would not be surprised if the Colts pull another upset here. I think they do come back down to earth at some point. But I still think the market hasn't quite caught up after 1 game to the Colts, so there could be some opportunity here. Haven't bet it yet, but I do like the Colts if you can get it at 3 points. Got the Titans at home, 5.5 point dogs against the Rams, coming off that hard-fought win at home against the Texans. Titans come back home. Cam Ward's first start in Nashville. And this number's too high, man. I think this is about 4. And still, I mean, we missed on the Rams last week. That was due to the Houston's terrible offensive performance. I think the Titans have a solid defense. I think they can contain Matt Stafford. Still not 100% on his back. He did look pretty good. Only put up 14 points against Houston and their tough defense. But 5.5 is a lot. I think the Titans can bounce back here after the horrible ATS year they had last year. This number moved up to 5.5. So eyeing that one up, maybe pounce, maybe see if we can get a 6. We'll see where this one goes. And the last one is Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Another one we don't want to overreact to. Bengals look pretty bad against the Browns defense. Jacksonville does not have the Browns defense. They look great in week 1, but I think this is an offensive shootout. You got Trevor Lawrence, this Liam Cohen offense against the Bengals with not great defense, no O-line, and I would bet this at 3.5. I still might. Haven't fired on it yet. Still going to look into this a little bit more. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere at the moment. We'll see Wednesday, tomorrow, if this moves at all, but I had this at Bengals minus 1.5. I got it at 3.5. Would only bet it at that number. I don't think if it hit 3 or if it goes down to 3 or less, I would take this. I think this is a field goal game, shootout, could go either way. Still remains to be seen with who these teams are. I have the Bengals win total under, and I think this is a game that they could lose. So I would lean towards Jaguars here. And let's talk one more. Falcons Vikings. Am I going to fade the Vikings again? A team that we talked about that we do like. Team that's stacked in the trenches on defense. This Brian Flores defense combined with this Kevin O'Connell offense. McCarthy looked terrible for 3 quarters. What McCarthy are we going to get this weekend against the Falcons? We will see, but 5.5 is a lot of points. And I think the Falcons had a very winnable game last week at home against the Bucs. This is another one that should fall around 3. I have this projected at 3.5. So 2 points of value there. Falcons also another dog that we're eyeing up. Only reason we're staying off is because I'm still not 100% on J.J. McCarthy, who he's going to be. Probably somewhere in the middle. He's probably not as bad as he was for the first 3 quarters. Probably not as good as he was in the 4th quarter last week, which makes me think this line's a little high, given it's moved up from 4.5 to 5.5 off this victory on Monday night. And Minnesota's 1-0. Atlanta's 0-1. Good spot for the Falcons to bounce back here and keep this within a field goal. Last but not least, folks, the best bet. You know how I feel about best bets. I love all my bets equally. Not one or other is a best bet, but hey, we're doing a podcast here, and you can't do a betting podcast if you don't have a best bet. So this is the official, what we're going to call it this week, the main event, no doubter, the stone cold, say it with your chest, nuclear whale play of the week. And this is Clemson at Georgia Tech, and we are on the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech at plus 6.5, a line that is long gone. This is down to 3.5 now, where I don't think I would take it at 3.5. I'd be second guessing at 3.5. Although I think the Yellow Jackets can win this game outright. I mean, I have it at 4.5, and completely wrong on Clemson. And to think they're going to go into Georgia Tech and win this game on Saturday, it's a tall task, let alone beating them by over 6 points. Love this line that we got. We did bet it early. We got higher juice. It was starting to move. We snagged it at the minus 120. I know some folks got 7.5s, which is insane. I think this could be a field goal game. So if you're more confident and more bullish on Tech and lower on Clemson than I am, go for it. Personally, I don't think I would bet the 3.5 just based on my numbers and projections. Clemson could bounce back here and win this one. I don't think so. My cap here is Georgia Tech is a live dog, could win this game outright. Most likely going to be, at worst, a field goal loss. So do with that information what you will. We're working really hard on betting early, folks. We're trying to get some bets in on Sunday when these lines drop. We have our power rankings ready to go. And we'll see if it helps us this week. Last week we bet mostly middle to later in the week. And I think we missed some good numbers, made some bad calls. And that wraps it up. Once again, if you're enjoying the show, if you want to follow along, feel free to rate and review the podcast and follow us on Action. We'll put our bets and all our analysis in real time, especially as these numbers move. We're monitoring the market. We have some more bets we're eyeing up in both college and NFL. We'll put them in as soon as we do. And let's have a better weekend than we did last week. Let's get back in the green. We need a winning weekend. That's all we got to do. Just chip away. One winning weekend at a time. And we'll be right back on track. Feeling good about the numbers overall in the system. Overall on the season in college football, we're sitting at 56% from the model. It's just a matter of the bets we do make, making sure we're betting the right games, making sure our analysis is correct. We're trusting the numbers, trusting the data, watching the market move, and making more good bets than last bad bets. That is the name of the game here. So that being said, let's have a weekend. Good luck to everybody. Thank you once again for listening. Let's bet smart, cash some tickets, and as always, good bets, good times. Cheers, everybody.